Patrick McNeil here, joined on the broadcast by former Cape Breton Eagle and now Ottawa Senator, we can say, Logan Shaw. Logan, will start off with the new contract. Congratulations on the deal. Why did you want to sign with Ottawa?
Thanks, Pat. I appreciate it. It was a tough decision for my family and myself, and Ottawa has a young team. We loved our time in Winnipeg, and we kind of wanted to go back there from the beginning just because we felt comfortable there. I find it's easier to play the way you want to play and be successful when you're comfortable somewhere, and I think that's why we loved Winnipeg so much, is that whether it was with the Jets or the Moose, we lived in the same house. It was just changing dressing rooms basically, but the opportunity with Ottawa came up, and it was a tough decision to leave Winnipeg, but I think it's tough to say if it's right or wrong decision until you go and experience it. But as of now, we're super excited to get to Ottawa. I think with the young team that they have and steps that they're taking, I think it's a good opportunity for me to try to continue my career in the NHL. And if not, Belleville is obviously such a great organization as well, to stay in Canada and stay close to home, which is a big bonus, especially now having a son, and you don't want to be far away from your family that much if you don't have to be. So we're very thankful for the opportunity. And
you're with the Winnipeg Jets organization, a team that was in the playoffs, so you got to experience the infamous NHL Bubble, I guess we could say. Walk us through what was day-to-day life like, and I'm sure what was a very strange situation.
Honestly, the NHL did a great job with it. Everything about it was well planned, obviously, and everyone felt safe. There was 2 or 3 hotels in the bubble, so the top 6 teams stayed in one, bottom 6 stayed in another, and then media had one as well. We weren't allowed to mix and mingle with friends and other teams for the first 5 days. It was strictly to your meal room, eat, go practice, come back to your room, hang out, and that's it. You couldn't do anything for the first 5 days. They just kind of wanted to keep contact down. After those 5 days, they started opening up some restaurants in the hotels, and they had a couple food trucks out in the courtyard. It was nice to get out and see some friends on other teams as well, but for the most part, it was, once that first exhibition game was over, it was, you were there to play hockey anyway. You didn't pay no mind to where you were at and what your routine was. It was just wake up, eat breakfast, follow the Yellowbrook Road to the rink. You're kind of fenced in to get to the rink, practice, play, whatever it was that day, and then back to the hotel, grab a bite to eat, and just kind of hang out in your room, get ready for the next day. But unfortunately, we didn't get to go too far in the playoffs, but I'm sure guys that went to the finals or the semifinals, I'm sure it would have gotten old for those guys doing the same thing like that every day, especially with no family and being away from everybody for so long. But I think the NHL honestly did a great job. They planned some excursions and stuff for teams that were there a little longer, and you have to go to the hotel and stuff and get some fresh air. But for the most part, they did a great job.
Almost become a running joke now how strong the ties are between the Eagles and the Ottawa Senators, with Drake Batherson, Kevin Mandolise, and Igor Sokolov in the system now. Do you have any connections with those three?
Mandolise not so much, but just from being with the Eagles, I know of them. Drake and Igor, I'm skating with both of those guys up here in Halifax. So obviously it's going to be nice to get to Ottawa camp and have a couple familiar faces. I've also been on a number of teams now where everywhere I go I'm going to know someone, and there's a couple of guys in the Ottawa team now that play with on different teams, so it's always nice to know a face or two when you get to the dressing room on a new team.
You had talked about being between the Jets and the Moose. We see this a lot in the pro ranks, the type of player that bounces between the NHL and the AHL. What are some of the challenges to being in that type of situation that fans might not know about?
We were spoiled a little bit there. Having a family is a big reason why a lot of people want to sign with a team that has both their teams in the same city. It's kind of uncommon. You get called up, you can't necessarily bring your family with you. You might only be going up for one night. You might be going up for 2 months. You don't know. That's why it was nice to be in the same city, and that way you're literally just changing dressing room. You're not changing your house. You're not flying across the country. It's just same routine, just different dressing room, which was pretty awesome. But also just for hockey-wise, you're changing your game a little bit. You want to shape it as much as you can and play the same way everywhere you play, but sometimes you have to change and rely on a little bit more in the American League than you would be up top, and little things like that, but that's where you live and learn. And I think as a professional hockey player, the biggest thing that you have to understand is you have to be able to understand your role and be able to play your role and what's asked of you no matter where you are. Maybe you're playing power play in the American League and you're not in the NHL, and that's part of it. There's other players that are there and they're skilled. And that's what they're getting paid to do. So I think if you can understand what you're being asked to do, it's going to help you in the long run.
You, of course, are an Eagles alum, and now your dad, Gerard, is the president. Has that to engage you more in the organization? How much are you keeping tabs on what goes on with the Eagles?
Honestly, I've never really stopped paying attention to them. Even when I played there for 3.5 years, and then I was traded, and even from when I was traded, still playing in the league, I still obviously had a lot of friends on the team, and I always kept a close eye. And ever since, I think, honestly to God, I always keep a close eye on them. I always try to get on the ice with them, usually in training camp, a regular year. I would try to get out there on the ice with them, kind of for myself to be on the ice, but also just to kind of see the faces. So when I'm checking Twitter and what have you for scores and stats, and I just put a face to the name. It's kind of nice. But Obviously, I like tracking those guys. I think the organization is going in the right direction. And I know last year they took a big step, but everything that's happening this year is kind of changing everything a little bit with the league. And that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is right now. And you can't really do anything to change that, I guess. But all I know is that they're putting in their time. They're putting in a lot of work, and they are developing players, obviously, and I think they're moving in the right direction.
And hopefully you're going to have a chance to play with some of those guys in the coming years, whenever that does happen. Thanks for telling us all about it, Logan. Best of luck in the new season whenever it comes about.
Thanks, Pat. I appreciate your time.
That's Logan Shaw, newly signed by the Ottawa Senators, and of course, Cape Breton Eagles alumni. You're listening to the intermission of McDonald Auto Hub, Cape Breton Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.